lot of people have reported that they have so much anxiety about climate change that they have to see a therapist for eco-anxiety, and those therapists have been printing money.
Which is why we started
The World is Ending Eco-Anxiety Therapy Group. The only therapy group that'll tell you you're 100% correct in thinking the world's gonna end when you think it is.
you are valid and you are justified.
You can expect a lot more of that for $200 an hour.
You are not overreacting.
You know other therapists don't even believe the world's gonna end?
You're a goner.
Okay, so a few other climate doomsday theorists have been wrong in the past. Greta, Al Gore, Life magazine when they said we'd be wearing gas masks by 1985.
Your end of times date is correct. Now give us your money.
The money's gonna be burning any day now, so give us your money and then you don't have to burn it. And for a limited time, we have double eco-anxiety super sessions.
Double the money and double the doom.
You're gonna be living in the sea in a day and a half, so cram in those sessions.
Put it on your dad's credit card. By the time he finds out, he'll be dead. We all will.
If anything, you don't have enough anxiety. That'll be $100.
Stop showering, quit your job, steal, give us your money.
Well, fear does sell. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Zerkanowski here of WeAreChange.org, and there is a lot of absolutely wild and crazy news to get into today, as of course we got some troubling news surrounding the next Republican presidential debates, as it looks like an old foe is coming back, as of course there was no accountability for it before, and the really bad people who did really bad things to us, well, they probably will be doing it again. We're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all here on this independent media broadcast. If you like the shirt that I'm wearing, you could get it on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. And the clip that we played in the beginning of this broadcast was done by the extremely talented Ryan Long and Danny Polishuk. The link to their YouTube channels will be down in the description below. And they do really awesome work. Hilarious work, especially when it comes to their latest skit, capitalizing off of all the fear-mongering and sensationalism in the corporate media that wants to convince you that somehow giving away your rights and more money to the government will make the weather gooder. Yeah, that's not a good idea. That's an idea that deserves to be debated. And of course, that debate is being stalled and screwed over by the corporate media, big tech social media, and the central powers that be that don't want you even discussing it. In related disappointing debating news, today we're also finding out that Donald Trump will not be attending one of the few GOP Republican presidential debates, and instead will be doing an interview with Tucker Carlson this Wednesday, rather than, of course, be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin with the other Republican presidential hopefuls. This, as people are calling this move, a major affront to the Republican National Committee, Fox News, and others who are hosting this event, including Rumble, and will be there in attendance as well. We're doing a meetup the day before, by the way, in Milwaukee. Check that out on lukeunfiltered.com. But overall, this news is disappointing, as even Vivek Ramaswamy, an individual who has been known for backing Donald Trump during many controversies, came out and actually criticized Donald Trump for skipping out on the debate, specifically saying this.
Well, look, Joe Biden, I think it is pathetic that he will not debate and his party will protect him from debating. Now, I fully expect to see Donald Trump on that debate stage. It is my expectation Trump will be there because, as I've known him, he's not a man that I know of to be afraid. He's not somebody who has made a habit of himself to be a coward. But if he doesn't show up on that debate stage, I think that'll be the best proof that the Donald Trump of today is not the same Donald Trump as in.
And I kind of agree with him. It's very disappointing that we won't see all the Republican candidates out there debating their ideas, fighting it out, making jokes about each other, which would be hilarious to see with everyone on board. But I guess Donald Trump doesn't feel the need to do this, as of course his popularity has been rising with almost every single indictment, as CBS News is reporting that his lead is continuing to grow against his competitors in the Republican Party, as, quote, GOP voters dismiss indictments. As it's fair to say that these indictments definitely have increased his popularity. All of this, as we're also learning today, that Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner might be making their way into a possible Donald Trump White House, which is really bad news for the populists, as of course they represent a lot of horrendous horrible statist globalist policies that, of course, have, according to many Donald Trump followers, put a stain on Donald Trump's record. This, as we also found out from Donald Trump's son, that it was Ivanka Trump that specifically cried to her father, the president of the United States at the time, and was able to convince him to bomb Syria. Jared Kushner, the guy wheeling and dealing with Saudi Arabia, making sure that they get a better weapons deal, with them now rekindling their support, as of course Donald Trump is looking as he's going to be the lead frontrunner, really highlights a very interesting shift in our political discourse, as of course CBS News is already referring to Joe Biden as the former president of the United States. Yes, whether this was by accident or on purpose, CBS News just referred to Joe Biden as the former president of the U.S., leaving a lot of people to speculate, what did they know that we don't, as the situation just becomes more uncertain, not just for the Republican presidential candidacy, but also the Democratic one, as of course there are still ongoing charges and controversies related to Hunter Biden that a big portion of the American public still has when it comes to their concerns to the current regime in power, that of course is politicizing the Department of Justice to go after their political opponent, highlighting clear issues in this next upcoming election, and why personally we have decided to make Tucker Carlson 2024 for President t-shirts, which you could exclusively get on thebestpoliticalshirts.com. We have a lot of different political ideas. We also have an official, unofficial Biden 2024 presidential campaign shirt as well that the boomer Democrats are definitely going to love in your local community. We're also throwing the idea out of a Biden-Fetterman presidency, which I think would definitely captivate a lot of minds if they were conscious. Another Biden-Harris shirt is Rich Guy and Cop shirt. We also have a Mean Tweets 2024, as of course we are monetizing this presidential election to the fullest extent that we can, as of course one of our other favorite presidential candidates is Ligma Johnson. I think Ligma Johnson is really something that we could all look forward to. As some would say he's running a really sloppy campaign. Others would say he really knows how to grease the knob here. And whether it's Tucker Carlson, Ligma Johnson, Mean Tweets, the Cop, and the White Guy, whoever you're supporting, make sure to represent those ideas by getting them on thebestpoliticalshirts.com, which also goes towards supporting this independent media organization. I wore this t-shirt at a local bar watching the UFC last night. Bunch of people came up to me saying, I love the shirt. Got to know a lot of people down here in Miami. Got to become friends with them. Some of them are even fans. And being able to express yourself politically without even having to say anything, with just wearing a t-shirt, being able to trigger people, being able to make people laugh, just by simply wearing a t-shirt is a gift that keeps on giving. Give yourself that gift or a loved one. This is a great birthday present, especially if you're looking for a really outrageous, facetious one that will definitely get a lot of people laughing. Whatever your cause may be, get a shirt on thebestpoliticalshirts.com and support this independent media broadcast at the same time. And I hope to see you in the streets because a lot of people, seriously, so many people get these shirts. It's amazing to see them out in the general public. So I hope to see you out there wearing one of these shirts. And because you do, I can't thank you guys enough for the support. This, as according to some people, we are headed towards a situation where you won't be able to be outside and you will have to continue to be masked. As it's fair to say that the latest climate change fear-mongering that Ryan Long and Danny Palaszczuk were talking about isn't really doing the job when it comes to allowing the government to force itself into your lives. This, as there's been a lot of pushback against the climate nonsense, against the rules, against the regulations that, of course, incentivize the rich to do whatever the hell they want while punishing the average human being for just trying to live their life. They're going after pizzas in New York City, and that's when you know when these net zero lunatics have absolutely jumped the shark here, as of course, you look at people's lives being made better, especially the ones who have the least in our society, it is directly correlated with the price of energy, which a lot of these net zero people want to deliberately and artificially keep high. And when they do that, they screw some of the most unfortunate people in this world that are now finding out about this scam that is affecting them. And that's why NBC News is talking about how a lot of these net zero goals and initiative are being met with protest, and rightfully so. So what will the establishment do when this current problem isn't working? Well, Why not just reuse the old problem that they were never held accountable for or responsible for, which they clearly got away with? This, according to a radio personality in Austin, Texas, that we can't even mention here on this broadcast since he was censored on the platform that we're on, just came out a few days ago on his radio show and talked about a TSA whistleblower that he met with, talking about the larger plan by the federal government by October to bring back full lockdowns and restrictions along with mask mandates. Now, this online commentator is very popular and has been known for predicting things that have been previously called conspiracy theories. This, as it's fair to say, they weren't really theories, they were more like spoiler alerts. And are these whistleblowers coming to this online popular radio talk show host actually correct here? Well, only time will tell. But very interestingly, right after this broadcast, the corporate media started to run with news headlines talking about how there's a new rise in cases and how there might be a big potential for new lockdowns and mask mandates here. Yes, you heard that correctly. Just hours after this broadcast, we saw a lot of very interesting reports from the corporate media, specifically Reuters, talking about BA.2.86, allegedly a new variant of a previous sickness that is now allegedly making its way back, and something that we should be very careful of. This, as the corporate media is also reporting, that hospitalizations are allegedly up. The CDC and the World Health Organization are allegedly monitoring this situation and alleged mutation, as CNN is already telling you to get a big pharma product that previously failed, didn't work, and was connected to a lot of very serious health ailments that were not tracked by the U.S. government. All of this is happening as a New York State hospital already reinstated mask mandates, and a hospital in Ontario already built new glass partitions and reinstituted their own kind of glass mandates because, those masks and those plexiglass partitions really did great the first time around, said no one ever. And when looking at the data, there's actually conflicting reports highlighting how not only how it was ineffective, but how it probably actually created more problems than it actually did help. This, as we're finding out to one study that masks had allegedly, quote, zero impact on transmissions, specifically looking at the data from the United Kingdom, that is also highlighting a lot of young people dying not from the sickness. So what are they dying from? Now, what's going to be happening from here on out? Is this Texas radio host right about his predictions here? Well, let's be honest here. If we could speculate about this a little bit, it would be very opportune to bring something back that worked very well for the larger establishment and central powers that be beforehand. They did get a lot of power. They were able to consolidate a lot of financial resources for themselves. Big corporations got a lot of federal bailouts. Walmart was allowed to be open. Mom and pop stores were closed down. And the individuals that carried out their, I would say, crimes against humanity were promoted. And they were never held responsible for the horrible actions that they took against some of the poorest people in our society. So what would stop them from doing it again? Nothing. And that's why the likelihood of them doing it again is probable here, since they got away with it. There was no legal proceedings. There was no actual court cases. There was scrutiny, predominantly by independent media, by people on social media, as the corporate media kind of wants you to forget everything that happened here. But looking at this upcoming very unpredictable election cycle, one of the main reasons why Joe Biden became president of the United States was because he really didn't have to campaign. The corporate media did that for him, and with allowing a lot of mail-in ballots, it allowed major institutions, including social media companies like Facebook, that took the Zuckerbucks and literally had people voting from their apartment buildings. Apartment buildings predominantly in very democratic city areas, and that's one of the key reasons why a lot of people believe that Joe Biden became president of the United States. So if you want to reelect Joe Biden, if you want to bring back mail-in voting, if you want more money for the special interests, if you want to screw over and lock people down again and take away more of their civil liberties, what better way to do it than, of course, this reintroduction of something that you previously did before? Now, that's just a theory, as of course, there probably will be a bigger pushback against it than the first time, as of course, people will be saying, hey, you already tried this once before, I'm not going to do this again. But will that pushback be significant? Well, again, time will tell, as of course we're dealing with a lot of speculation here and could only guess what's going to be happening next. What do you think is going to be happening next? Let me know down in the comment section below. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively watching and sharing this video. And that's why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.